I didn't publish anything on this particular fellowship I had, because I learned how to make these proteins and did what it used to be called genetic engineering. I think that went as a term very long time ago. So making proteins basically. And it's not something you really would write up about very much. I then went off and had my children, so there's a break in my CV for all sorts of reasons, and then came back. And I was quite proud of my retraining fellowship because I felt that it gave me a different angle on proteins, for example, and then I make that my career. So I think with the Pivot Fellowship, it has to be seen as a prestigious fellowship. And the MRC Retraining Fellowship was considered competitive. I remember I had an interview in London in those days, Park Crescent, and there was a big panel. And I felt like I'd won something and I felt good about it. And I felt this is an opportunity. I'm going to grab it and I'm going to learn something completely different. So I think if it's well respected and well thought of, then it shouldn't be. And the only other thing I've done, which I'm very proud of, is we had one fellowship, could only make one fellowship in the Kavli due to financial constraints, but I was determined it would be someone who'd crossed fields. So because my first fellow is Lindsay Baker, and she trained as a physicist but moved into biology. And I think for her, she would often, she's doing fine now, but she would often not get something because people would say, oh yes, but she's this many years after her PhD and look where she is. And so yes, but she retrained, she learned a whole new field. She's a very successful structural biologist now, coming from sort of particle physics or something. She's a very good physicist, but look what she now brings to the table. She's got physics and biology, and she's, racing ahead. Her career's going very well. So I think recognizing that if you do change direction or you have multiple skills, that your output might be a bit behind people of a comparable age. But that's something I think is better than it was, because obviously I can speak from my own experience here, because obviously I had time out and did well, some people would say a false start. I don't call it that. I call it a retrain into biology. And I got a URF and they said, oh, you're the oldest one we've ever had. Oh, okay, the oldest person in town, this is not good. But actually recognizing that people have different paths and why do we have to set this clock on people,